You should probably. Oh, you should probably cue the music. Okay.
Why the iron table turn gold?
I can't do nothing
This
with you guys.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes. We starting out at the top. We starting out at the top. So
Cue the music.
okay, so I'm gonna say welcome to the Iron Table, where iron sharpens iron, so should men sharpen men. A couple of housekeeping things. As you know, we own nothing. We own nothing except for the skin and the clothes that are on our back. So for those who are watching, we don't own the rights to any music used during any part of this segment. Uh, Yet we appreciate the talents and craft of musicians and only use their music to honor their gifts. So, this is a post Thanksgiving special. I called these guys after uh, Thanksgiving. And it's a time where we're supposed to be thankful. We're supposed to acknowledge our family, acknowledge our friends, those who have been here, those who have passed on. And we usually do it over soul food. It could be mac and cheese, it could be collard greens, sweet potatoes, yams for those who like yams. You know, some people turkey, ribs, fish, any one of those soul foods. And I was like, hey, I'm thankful for these three guys here. And the latest one, Steve's joined us, and it's just been an enjoyable experience since then. But I wanted to bring these guys to talk about thankfulness. But before we do that, I'll allow everyone to introduce themselves. And in the future, the opening will change because it's not just Keith and I, but got Danny and Steve who've come to the table. It's now four squares. We got four different views, four different opinions, four different truths, and we're all sharpening each other. So I'll turn it over to Keith. Short introduction, and then we just go around the circle. And then I do have a question to start us off.
I'm Keith.
Jerk.
You. I'm Keith. What you want to know?
I don't know. I already know you. What about those people who don't know you? Are you a representative of Guitar Center?
Yes. Oh. I should own stock in Guitar Center.
Exactly.
They probably know you when you walk in.
They do. I tell you, they roll out the red carpet. I get to see what's in the back. Not the back, but the back. Y'all know about that.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be no talking back based on the video y'all just sent me.
You know what?
You want to talk about that?
No. I'm Danny, and I am grateful to not have that video in front of me anymore. So we're not talking about it. No.
All right. Now everybody wants to know what that video is, but I'm not going to bring it up.
Can't do that.
Thank you.
Can't do that.
But you got to live in the moment, right?
Whatever. Steve, who are you?
I am Steve, and I'm a Gemini too. Y'all all Geminis as well?
Yeah.
That's nuts. And I'm a Gemini.
Are you a May Gemini or are you a? Let's see.
I started. I started May 21st.
What? Your birthday is May 21st. My birthday is May 21st.
Get out of here.
I can't. It's cold outside. But yes, May 21st.
Wow. That's nuts. You see how the stars align? You see how the stars align?
Yeah. And then you sent that video. I'm gonna change my birthday. But to get us started, I'm gonna the other day, this is a grown channel. So in the bed with my wife, and she leans over and she asks me this. do I want to be the little spoon? And my initial response, like my body just, I have natural defenses. And I was like, no, I ain't never going to be the little spoon. She was like, no, little spoon. I some guys say they'd like to be the little spoon. And I said, what guys have you been talking to that want to be the little spoon? So I'm going to ask y'all, has she been talking to y'all? Any one of y'all like to be the little spoon?
So you mean my back is towards her?
Yes. Your back is towards her and she scoots close. Puts her arm around you. You are now in a seated position where she is the seat and you are the passenger.
She in a position to get blown away because I can control what I do when I'm asleep.
Oh no, you up because she leans over your ear and says, okay, "You're gonna be the little spoon," and back up. So
I gotta think about that. I don't know if that's ever happened. Now, like reverse, like I'll snuggle up against it, but I don't know if it's ever been with my back towards her. That's a good question.
Yeah, I need to know because I want to know who she's been talking to, and I know, this, especially with Mr. Jones, they have this greeting. So has she been talking? Are you a little spoon in your home?
I'm not responsible for that. I think she was just trying to see if you wanted to be the little spoon. She just wanted to.
I almost threw all the spoons out the house too.
She just wanted to see if you needed to cuddle, and she is. So,
but the little spoon?
Yeah, some people like it.
Are you one of those people?
No, I don't recall. I'm like Steve. I don't recall. I've rested up against. It's not a.
You are in the bed. You are in your most vulnerable.
I don't know if I could deal with the whisper because that's just.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, that's.
No, she just started cuddling.
So you'd rather be the little spoon without being told you're the little spoon?
If she starts just cuddling with you, I think you can manage that a little better. I think you can handle that a little bit better versus you want to be the little spoon and just look at like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's to each his own.
But, so that's a yes or a no to the little spoon.
I'm trying to think. I don't recall. Okay,
while he's trying to recall, Danny, are you a little spoon? See, this is what happens when you bring iPhones to an Android party. Yeah. Are you okay with being a little spoon? Did he mute himself too? Oh, don't let us edit this in post. Yes, I enjoy being the little spoon. No. 1 second. Un momento. Okay, so Keith, little spoon, you're still thinking about that? Like for me, I don't mind cuddling in bed. Let the world know Ryan's a cuddler. I hold my woman. I hold her close to me. But when I hold her, my arms are moving towards her. My arms are not moving away.
He's back.
So I can't cuddle with my back to her. I gotta cuddle when I'm looking at her. So
how is she grabbing you though? Is she grabbing you like underneath your arms, or is she coming like over your shoulders? Or like how
you
is
make it seem like a wrestling move?
So
it's one arm. It's one arm.
It does. It matters. That's what I'm saying.
It's one arm. There was an arm on my back. There was an arm on my back, and she came over like this and was like,
"Oh,
you want to be the little spoon?" I was like, no. I got out the bed. I was like, I gotta go get something to drink.
She can't announce it. She can't announce it. That's rule number one. She can't announce it.
That announcing part would throw me off.
So you would be the little spoon if she didn't tell you. And then for how long?
I would be more apt to cuddle in a different position. That might be, but like I said, it might be my head. But if you announce that I'm coming in to make you the little spoon, no,
it just gives me connotations that I think most men who love women's
Mhm.
we prefer making sure that there's no past interference. So that's my 2 cents. In general, men protect, provide. Like we are the covering. We are the one. Not that I don't like love, because physical touch is one of my favorite love languages. And so if somebody's coming to give me a hug, like, you can give me a hug any kind of way. But to announce it, yeah, definitely, it's like, you can't announce and then say little spoon, like,
right,
ain't
and then whisper it
much.
in my ear, like
Deeply.
Maybe she thought it was essential. I didn't feel safe. But in marriage, isn't that allowable? I mean,
yeah, no, you could do whatever. I mean, you're married.
look
Just
at his
come up
face
with
when
a
he
little
says it.
spoon, be a little spoon. But I know most men, we there's certain things we offer. I know men who don't like being picked up. Their wives are strong enough to pick them up.
Jesus.
I know men who get slapped on the butt, and they don't. We like to do it, but when it's reversed,
she did that. I was like, "What? Are you okay?"
I never thought about that. You woman picking me up. Oh, hold on now. You got to put me down on the ground. Oh wow, that's
Now, but let me ask y'all this while we're there. Like, would you have an issue if she was like Diesel? Like Diesel? Like, if your woman worked out to the point that she had big guns, like,
I just had this conversation, and I think that for me there is a limit. Now, being in shape is one thing. It's okay to be in shape. It's okay to have some definition, but I think to each his own. But I could not date a bodybuilder. That's not my type. But so no. Short answer, no.
So you're saying she couldn't, bench press 410 and then come and hug you?
I would be impressed with that, but no, I mean, but if she bench 410 and she looked like it, she bench 410. I don't know, like that's not that wouldn't be attractive to me. I'll be proud of her. Good job, honey. You do what
that
you
you
do.
would be. Yeah, you would say that because you wouldn't be no problem.
Right. You better say it. She bench 410. You better say good job, honey. But
burnt the food. Oh, okay. I'll eat it.
I'll eat it. Yeah, right.
Sure was good.
Another Amazon package. Another Amazon package. That's okay, honey. Get some more. You bench.
What would you say to your friends though? Would you say, I don't. It's too much. She's a little rough in the bed. She's hugging me too tight, or would you even allow your friends to make jokes?
No, I mean it is what it is. Like I don't know. I was looking at a picture of Serena Williams, and she's very, she's an athlete, and she has an athlete's body, and so I think when she stops playing, as she ages, it probably will benefit her that she does have this muscular frame, because she probably, will have it will move towards being a normal, what I'll call a normal frame of people who don't work out as much. But right now, while she's in an athletic build, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
But we're not talking about Serena Williams type of build. We're talking about ones that are going like this, and they pointing, and all of a sudden their bodies they done used the whole bottle of baby oil just for the back. I'm going.
No, you said body. Oh yeah, I already said bodybuilders. No, but I'm thinking something that's the next. What would be the next stage over? Not, and that would be a Serena Williams, a more athletic build that's still closer to that. But it's some people, that's their thing. They like to work out. They like to.
What do you think it is? Like, do you think that men are intimidated by a strong woman, or do you think that it's less feminine? In your humble opinion, what do y'all think? Let's start on the table. We got like,
It's intimidating.
Yeah,
You know,
it's some intimidation. Hmm.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you know
and
that. I mean, our strength is our strength. You know, I wish I could. Our ability to lift and move and pull, that is our strength. You take that away from us, then we got to use words, and words are our weakness. And you know, what else do we have? I mean,
but you know what?
yeah,
There's something in, because my girl, she's as kids know, she work out a lot and whatnot, you know, and people have commented on, she's not like American Gladiator or anything like that, but you know, she definitely got some definition, definitely works out too. And she used to box, you know what I mean, professionally too. Um, so you know, it ain't gonna be no problems in my, in my house with me. But here's the thing, though. There's something in it to know understand it. Just like, hey, you know what? My girl can take care. Definitely can handle herself too. She's not a. I'm not going to say a weakling, but again, you know, if push comes to shove, and she needs to, if I'm not there, she's going to be able to handle herself without, you know, we're talking about like a firearm or anything like that. She's going to be able to handle herself and you know and be safe, you know. So there's something in that, and there's something, and it's weird because you know a lot of men, well, a lot of people that you know, couples that I'm counseling too. A lot of the men are very threatened by a woman, not just in the physical sense of maybe bodybuilding or being strong or anything like that, but just in the sense of being able to do things on their own. So it's as if like they're taking something away from us if they do something that we can do, you know, which is the very weirdest thing because that's attractive to me to be able to a woman to be able to sustain on her own, whether it be financially, strength, or whatever. Just a woman being able to walk into a room and handle and hold a room and handle a conversation on her own is something beautiful. But a lot of men, when we talk about those attributes, a lot of men don't like that because it's like it threatens their masculinity. That's the word I can never say. It threatens their manhood.
but I mean, think about it. We were raised to say you need to provide, you need to protect. Provide was always, it wasn't protect and provide, it was provide and protect. So if we're not able to provide and we find women that can do it on their own, then all that leaves is protect. And what if we not, what if we can't fight? What if we can't, we're in positions where we getting our butts kicked. I'm not, it ain't me, but I mean, we were
But here,
raised
right.
that way. And once you meet a woman that doesn't need that, then you begin to like, well, man, maybe she don't need me and I can easily be replaced. So then you find brothers that are going 2-3 steps down, finding women that are needy. And then that just puts them in a different space where they're with someone that, where after a while they feel like, you really only need me for what I can give you, not you're trying
Right.
to add to what we have. It's, if I can't provide this for you, then I'm no good to you. Yet in the back of our minds, we were like, we wanted someone that needed us, but we didn't want someone that needed us this much.
Mhm.
But see, that's the problem though. We go into these relationships thinking, what can I do for her, or what can she do for me? When it should be, what can we do together?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? That's the real problem of just kind of saying like, well, I can do this for you, or she can do that for me. No, 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 no. When you get married and you get into a establish a relationship, it should be more of what can we do together. There is no separation at that point, especially when you're moving into the realm of marriage, right? Two become one. What can we do? It's always having, and even changing your language. What is it that we're going to do together? What is it that, how can we buy this? How can we buy that? Or how can we do this? But when we say, hey, I can do this for you, or you can do that for me, oh, you know, that's where we kind of fall short on why I'm with this person, you know, and that's where things, you know, people start to wander. I start to wander too, you know. Oh, this person can do this for me, that person can do. The whole mentality of why we're even in a relationship is kind of skewed with society now.
Makes sense.
So I mean, Keith, then y'all have young men. What have you instructed them, as far as, not only just their self-worth, but are you telling them, hey, you need to be in a position where you can, if you're really serious, you gotta be in a position where you can provide in case she can't? Or are you
Mm.
saying, hey, these are times are different. It's gotta be how can we move forward? And how do you get them to convey that message to the young lady if she's been taught,
Mm.
that the man is supposed to provide, supposed to do, supposed to, the financial. And I know Keith and I, we've had a conversation where, your money is our money, my money is my money. Like how do you work with your boys, your men, young men, to navigate that?
I'll say that for me, the most important aspect of relationships is like Steve said, teamwork. So teamwork is critical. It's essential. Teamwork makes the dream work. And if you have a vision for a well run, managed home, that is going to be the reflection of you rocking a good team collaborative experience with this person. She can't be seen as inferior, yet and still, I believe in the principles of leadership and providing and protecting. It looks different in everybody's situation, but it might span different quadrants, different domains. But at the end of the day, are you able to provide a covering? Because every woman that I know of wants to know that her husband or that her man can hold it down, um, can make sure she has everything that she needs. She needs safety. She needs security. She needs to know that that you are going to really be the force of nature driving the entity of your relationship forward. And so teamwork to me is the most important component. Um, and then once you establish that, you can work out all of the other logistics, but providing and protecting is under that banner. Because nowadays it's difficult to have a one income household and to not live in a cardboard box. And so you need each other. But she wants to know that you're going to be able to take care of her. And if she doesn't know that, you're going to have all manner of dysfunction. I'm just telling you.
I know Keith's going to chime in, but I
Mhm.
just pencil this in. If we are told to protect and provide, and they're allowed to, say we save them from one incident and then they go back right into it, what do we have to do that kind of gives us a glimpse of what they can provide for us? Like if she wants to know if we can provide financially. Okay, she missed a bill, she needs help, we pay that bill, we're showing that we
Mm.
can provide financially. But what is it that we need from our women, from our relationship, that we can, I guess, create that environment in order to see if she has um, those tangible or intangible skills in order to hold up her side of the relationship? And is it
Mm.
fair, for us to even create those situations, those circumstances, in order to just to see?
Mm.
I know I just dropped a big thought. Like, can we create an environment or a testing field to see? And if so, what is it? And how do we do it? Because sometimes we don't find stuff out until after we're married. You know, unless we're
So you
living
know,
with the person prior to marriage.
one thing that I tell a lot of my couples, but I go specifically to the men, talk about head of the households in a specific way. But when we talk about safety and security, a lot of times we forget about what that can really mean, right? So one of the
Mhm.
core things that I talk about is safety and security doesn't always mean that, oh, you be able to walk your woman down the street and defend her honor against whoever or whatever or anything like that. And as far as security too as well, but it also means being able to set a tone for your household, for the relationship, for how things are going to be and how things are going to. So when we talk
That is
about,
safety.
following, being being able to, I don't want to say even be submissive or anything like that, but just being able to follow, a man's lead. The man has to be able to set a tone of expectations that, hey, this is how we live our life as a couple because I'm a representation of you and you are a representation of me. So this is how we're going to live our life. We can't be out here bold like this and even just being disrespectful to other people. Like if you go to a restaurant and your man or your woman is disrespectful to the waiter in a certain way just because they're a waiter, that's when you have to establish, hey, we don't do that, because that's not a fair representation of us. So being able to set a tone also sets that safety and security of a understanding of what it is that we're going to do. Because sometimes safety and security, we don't even have to reach that point if we don't even put ourselves in situations that require some safety or security. You see what I'm saying? Whether it be, walking down the street, whether it be financial, being able to say, hey, we're not going to spend $100,000 on this car if we got a $50,000 house. You see what I'm saying? So being able to set those boundaries and those standards based upon the tone that you set as a man, sometimes that's kind of our responsibility, and
Mm.
we can take that on. And that's not to say that sometimes that doesn't switch or sway. Sometimes the woman has to set a tone about certain things too as well. But again, like Danny alluded to, it's teamwork. It takes two to make this work.
And Jones, you've been kind of quiet, man.
No, I'm
Oh, you
listening.
about to say something?
No, I was going to say something, but you just threw out this whole other threw this
Well,
other
we'll take
ball,
it back, man.
ball
Take it
into the
back.
mix. So, no, I was just going to say it takes teamwork, but I mean, but in a practical sense, because I've seen this a lot. We know it takes teamwork, and I think the women in our lives or most men's lives know it takes teamwork, but we often sometimes don't know how to deal with. We forget. I don't think we forget. I don't think we just don't know how to deal with the humanistic side of their emotions. In a sense, I'll give you an example. I've known so many men who feel if I lose my job, she's going to leave me. But if she lost her
Mm,
job, I would still be here. So my safety and security, as long as I have my job, I have safety and security. I know she's not going anywhere. I can provide. I can do what I need to do. But I know the moment that job is gone, so is she, or so is, and even
mm,
when it comes to like the example you laid out is, and I know men who've been in this situation where you go out on a date, somebody says something disrespectful to her, and she's looking like, are you not gonna say nothing about that? And you looking up like, sir, don't be mean to my wife, please. Like, dear Mike Tyson, please be nice to my wife.
so she
And,
wants us to be stupid. that's
right.
that's not fair.
So I know men who have made the argument like I'm here for safety and security, but they don't always feel like it's something that's reciprocated. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's like how do I have how do I find the comfort in knowing that my relationship can make it through the obstacles of life. So if something falls out of place, the whole relationship isn't going to fall out of place. Because I'm doing everything I can do to make sure that she's good. It's like I'm looking for jobs. I know I'm going to find another job, but it's a process. But in the meantime, and rightfully so, she's panicked. The comforts of life are being interrupted. The safety and security right now is being tested. So naturally, she's afraid. Um, but he's also seeing another side that says with this new trial or new obstacle being presented, I see the chink, I see the breakage or the holes or the leaks in the armor, so to speak.
Mm.
So
But why? But then, if that's the case, then Keith, again, this goes back to when we're thinking about a relationship, or I'm sorry, we're thinking about a marriage. If we have some marriages that are out there like that, where if somebody loses the job, the other person is panicking, maybe looking at to see what else they can get better on the other side of the grass or whatnot, just because a person loses their job. Why are we getting married then? Because then we're forgetting about the vow of for better or for worse. If
Well,
we can't be there,
I don't even
if
think
we,
that's in most people's vows no more. And they were
you're right.
everything was great. No, I'm serious. Everything was great prior
You're
to
right.
the marriage. Everything was great because this obstacle wasn't there. It was the job is forever. We both, we're making $1 trillion a year. Everything's great. Savings is there, cars, boats, whatever. And then recession, pandemic, life, death, everything just hit. And so now money ain't what it used to be. So now it's not that, and again, it's not that they're not in the poorhouse. Like again, they're not living on the streets, but him being in between jobs is definitely causing her to feel like, did I question, like you said, is the grass greener? Maybe I should transition over to Johnny because his grass looks really green.
Then you're not
Okay.
for me. Then you're not for me. You're not my soulmate, spouse, or whatever. Because in any circumstances, I should be able to give you that same grace. If anything goes on with you, that hey, you know what, lost my job or whatever. Okay, I got you. And if I lose my job, guess what? You got me. If anything is to happen, that's what a marriage is supposed to be. That's what a relationship,
But
a committed
I'm gonna
relationship
tell
is
you, they
supposed
don't
to.
they don't want I got you. So many women because they sign up for marriage not so they don't have to do that. From what I've been told by some, they sign up for it because you're supposed to have me and the kids,
and
and
that and that's
they
and
get
that's why they got themselves, and that's why there's a lot of people out here single trying to go on match.com trying to find somebody because they've given up on somebody that had their back, but when it comes to a moment that they have to have their back, then it's, oh, I'm not doing that, and then they find themselves single.
So let's be fair. What if her response is a knee-jerk reaction? Are we able to
Mm.
move past the knee-jerk reaction of, well, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? How we gonna make? You need to go get a job. Are we able to move past that? Or are we talking about if she is not supportive during the process of trying
no,
to,
and I think
get back
that's why
to
I
a
brought
sense
it
of
up.
stability?
That's why I brought it up. I think most men need to understand what we are.
Hmm.
We respond logically to most things because that's who we are. We think
Hmm.
about what is the rule, what is the problem, what is the solution, what are my avenues, what are my options? That's my favorite question. What are my options? Um, our counterparts don't think like us. They respond with how they feel in the moment. Oh my gosh, we're gonna die. That's a lot of times. Sometimes it's extreme. But when you recognize that, I know for me, when I recognize that, it helps me to realize what I'm dealing with. And I
Hmm.
can take that knee-jerk reaction a lot better. Now, like you said, now going and I'll deal with it as I'll hear it, I will address it. But going forward, as we move forward to resolve the solution or come to a solution, I will expect a little differently because we're not gonna die. We're gonna eat. Like again, I'm gonna need your support. So I can't have you ready to just
Now, what if it
traumatize the
happens
whole
more than one
family.
time though?
What's that?
What if it happens more than one time? Saying that you lost your job in January, you were able to get a job, maybe in the end of February, but then you lose the job again, come October, November.
Okay. Let's see. I operate off of God and faith. If I got this job and I lost it, I'll get another one. We're not gonna die.
But are we
We
able
won't.
to accept again the response of, you need to hold down a job, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to, and I mean, we can easily say, well, I need you to support me. And they're like, wait a minute,
But
you're
what is
supposed
it?
to be taking care of me.
Right.
So,
Because when you say that, what does that mean? I need you to support me.
well,
When I say
to be devil's advocate for the
Mhm.
ladies who aren't here on purpose, I I um I'll say that I have heard many a story where you got a knucklehead who ain't pulling his own weight. He's not doing what he's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
there are many of us that are underemployed, especially comparatively speaking to the highest educated class in the United States of America, which is the Black woman. And so
Mhm.
I think that there's a lot of dynamics that go into play. One, if she's not married and she doesn't have kids, what else does she have to do but go and get a degree? And as she gets this, as she begins climbing up the corporate ladder and gets more earning potential and diversifies different investments, now she's looking at her man like, okay, what do I need you for? And especially if she's emotionally immature, she can become, I know so many situations where the language begins to change and
Mhm.
there begins to be belittling. There begins to be,
Mm-hmm.
The language and
contempt.
the value changes.
Yeah, devaluing, disrespecting, you know, not it's a problem. But to give voice to the females that I know, I'll say that there are situations where it's like you do have to have
Absolutely,
those courageous conversations, because some guys do need to get it together,
they do.
and
That is true.
that but the realities are, how do you have that conversation in a constructive way that is not poking holes in the reservoir of your love tank? Because most of our sisters, when faced with difficult situations, they have a certain,
Mm-hmm.
help
Level
me
of
out.
frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a level of frustration
Yeah,
of anxiety?
that frustration is real.
He
Is
said
definitely
attitude.
real.
He said fire.
Oh, that's
He's
what it
saying
is.
heat. He's saying to come across is too strong. It's too heavy handed. He's saying they too tough.
So so
They
okay, so
hot.
this is the iron table, and we're so we can't just talk about it. How oh, how many times is too many times to let me know that I need to get my act together before it turns into from concern to nagging,
No,
from
no,
genuine
no. I
concern
tell,
to
I tell, no.
belittling.
This, yeah, I have this conversation with couples all the time because men, we love to say we're being nagged, and sometimes it's true, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's our fault. We're like, and I. This is oh my gosh, I'm so tired of this conversation because I'm again I have it regularly, and when you've been asked to do something 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times and it still isn't done, again I expect the after so many times, expect there to be some heat behind it or some frustration or resentment behind it because it's been
Amen.
asked many times. And
It
you brought
can't
that on
be
your
some old, that's why your mama's a slut kind of, like they can't be hitting below the belt, because you underemployed, you know what I'm saying? And women do that. They like, it's falling
I'm
off your
so
seat.
glad. I'm so glad that I haven't had this because I wouldn't be with you guys right now. Because if that would hurt. Uh, that's
You're right. You cannot throw punches. You shouldn't, but that's the ones that will be thrown sometimes because that's the ones they know that's going to hurt. And that's the goal. The goal is not to just motivate you. The goal in that moment for some people is I'm frustrated and angry. So I want you to be frustrated and angry too. So I'm going to hurt you.
but that doesn't even. It doesn't work because now
It
I
doesn't.
want to hurt you.
It
I
doesn't.
want to hurt you. That's
Yeah,
not
we
fair.
forgot the
But you know what?
original thing. No, I'm just saying we
Right.
forgot
Right.
the original problem. Now it's just back and forth.
On
So
something
it's
else.
not going
Something
to
else.
get done.
Hmm. Most definitely. But you know what? Danny brought up something very good about being able to just take sometimes constructive criticism. That's my
Yeah.
third pillar. That's my third pillar in what I tell couples about, even having disagreements, arguments at all. Just being able to accept that, hey, you know what? Like I said, it's the third system. This is the third pillar of it. But the last pillar is you hearing something that you don't like to hear. But I need to think about it first. Is this person saying this out of love or concern or or a need? And if so, I need to relax with my feelings because if I act on emotion of how I don't like what I'm hearing right now, somebody telling me something I probably need to do, I need to shut up and listen and just be quiet. Because if I react on my emotions, now we're going to, like you just said, get off to something else. We as a people have a very hard time accepting what somebody else is saying to us out of
All
constructive
the time.
criticism,
All the time.
especially our counterpart, especially our counterpart. So if we could just be able to just understand, like I said, it's a three-part system, but the basis of the first of the system is, does this person love me? Would this person do anything maliciously to really hurt me? So if we can answer those questions, guess what this person is
Nobody
saying to
thinking
me right
about that,
now,
Steve. No one
you
is
got
thinking
to.
about that.
It's easier said than done. I'll say that. It's easier said than done. But if you want to have, well, if you want to be able to control yourself in a argument, or if you want to make sure that your disagreement doesn't turn into an argument and your argument doesn't turn into a fight, we have to bite our tongue and listen, because so many times we are listening to just react instead of listening to hear. And that's when things go south. That's when people get hurt and feelings get hurt. Or if we could just take a time just to shut up and listen and get out of our own feelings, men and women, we can make things work. We can make things
Yeah.
work. So I definitely agree with that. Being able to accept constructive criticism, especially from your spouse. And if your spouse can't, you don't feel like your spouse can criticize you without you feeling a certain way, you're in the wrong relationship. Because I
Yeah.
depend on my woman to tell me, please tell me, because that means, because I trust you. I trust that you have my best interest at heart. And if what you're telling me is something I need to do and I can realize that, then guess what? I'm gonna fall back and be like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna trust what you're saying because I
Yeah,
know
you
you
take this
love
to the
me.
world. Gotta
But
take this
again,
up.
it's like I said, easier said than done. But if you just start having that concept in your head, as far as being able to trust your partner, that they got your best interest at heart. But first and foremost, you got to figure out if this person that you with got your best interest at heart. We with some
That-
we with people that don't got our best interest at heart sometimes.
No, I was going to say that's hard for a lot of couples because by the time they come see us, a lot of the trust is gone. So you're telling me I got to trust this person that I don't trust to be honest with me about things that I don't want to hear, especially from them. So I can't tell you how many couples I've had, and I use the example. I've asked couples, if you ate a garlic and onion sandwich for lunch, do you trust your wife to come slide you some gum and say, "Hey, here's some gum," or is that going to start an argument? And most times it's going to start an argument. Why? Like I'm like, why? If you know you just ate a garlic and I said a garlic egg and onion sandwich, like that don't even sound good. But you know your breath stinks. You know your breath stinks. Why can't she come to you and say, hey, babe, I got this for you because I know what you have for lunch, and I just want to make sure you're not walking around like a dragon out here. So he didn't. I don't want her telling me nothing. But then again, that's her job. But he doesn't like the. And again, I had other couples that he wouldn't want that wife because I felt she was very forward. She was very blunt, but her husband loved it. I think I've told Daddy about this. There was one couple I had. She was so forward and blunt. I thought it was. I, I was like, you don't feel like how she just told you your breath stink. He was like, no, I need her to tell me the truth. I need her to tell me because he said that works for me. Because if she just says, hey, you might want to get some gum, or you might want get some candy, or he's like, I'm not gonna hear that. I need her to tell me, honey, your breath smell like hot garbage. Here's some gum. He said that works for me. That
And now
gets my
he understands it. It's serious. It's death comma zero at this point. You need to change. You need to do something.
but some people don't want. I've been around men who don't want that. They don't want that level of correction. Who are you to talk to me? I'm the head of this household. You don't correct me, or you don't tell me.
Okay.
Right.
So just have you out there bald. Okay. All right. All
Okay.
right.
All the boogers in your nose, spinach in your teeth. Go ahead.
I think that's learned though. I think that is learned behavior. If most of the times
Unlearn
the
it.
men who feel like they have to, I'm the man of this house. If you got to say it, you're not the man of the house. Like you,
Yeah.
There
you,
you
you,
go. There you go.
you
There
should
you go.
even have. Everybody should know that. Hey, when it comes down to it, oh no, I'm not. But
So
practice. What have we seen model? And if we haven't seen that model where we can have that dissenting voice and opinion come and correct us. Like if all we know is you're not my daddy, you're not my. If we all we know is that toxic, dysfunctional, then what are we going to practice when we get in a relationship? We're going to practice the
Yeah.
same thing. We have we have to acknowledge where we've been, and then strategically take steps to teach and train the next generation. Brian, you were talking about my sons. Well, the conversation I'm having with them is, yo, this is how men communicate. Like eyeball to eyeball, ain't no little sidebar looking over. No, like eyeball to eyeball. Let's talk it out. Hey, you know what? Let's chill with with the passive aggressive with the microaggressions and all. No, what are you
No,
saying? Let your yay be
no,
yay, let your nay be nay. Say mean
that's
what you
right.
say and say what you mean, and be able to accept correction, because if you're not able to accept correction, you're
Mhm.
going to run into a brick wall. You're going to do a lot of damage to yourself and
Mhm.
everybody around you. So as we have these conversations and train the next generation, and call our other brothers on this, I think that we can begin to reverse some of the toxic and dysfunctional behaviors that we've had, where
See,
people can't accept correction because they've never seen it
true,
modeled.
true. See,
Speaking
see.
of calling
Go
on the
ahead.
brothers, I gotta acknowledge, I'll acknowledge this table. Definitely have to acknowledge Keith, because I I finally finished the kitchen. It has been 3 years. 3 years finishing the kitchen. And there was a situation where Misi had asked me, about the ceiling, because we had to get the ceiling worked on. The previous contractor messed it up. We brought in another one, and my father-in-law was actually able to like push the ceiling up. And so next thing, the ceiling just needed to be sanded. And it's not I hate drywall. I hate it with a passion.
Me too.
The sanding, the drop, especially the sanding, scraping, yeah, doing all that, that's fine. But all that dust, it just gets everywhere. And so she was like, "So when are you gonna do it?" And I was like, I'll get to it." And that was year one. Year two, when you gonna do it? I'm like, "Well, I just need the tools." All right, got the tools. Tools sitting in the garage. When you gonna do it? And I was like, "I'll do it when I get." And I saw myself getting an attitude, but I was more upset with myself. But I was taking it out on her. So I did the sanding. Then next thing was a paint. When you gonna paint? And I'm like, "Well, when you gonna paint the trim?" And that was my response. And it was a wrong response. And I talked to Keith about it. Keith was like, "You wrong. You know you messed up. You need to go slap her on the butt and apologize." And I was like, "Maybe that works in your home, but not in mine. I might have to be that little spoon
Yeah, I
tonight."
was gonna say she gonna make you a little spoon.
But what I'm
Don't
saying is
do it,
that
B. Don't do
it took me a while to understand that she wasn't nagging, or she wasn't bringing it up to point out my faults. It was, you made a promise to do this. I've given you time, given you grace. Now I need you to do it. And so finally finished painting. Next thing you know, tile. We had the tile for just as long as. Now we finished the tile. I had to pay somebody, because glass tile is not my thing. I can lay tile on the
Mhm.
floor, but on the walls, doing that subway pattern, didn't do it. So after me and the contractor worked together to put the tile up, I told her, hey, I had promised her before Thanksgiving. I was like, I just need some. Can I just do it afterwards? And I could see the dejected look on her face, but in my mind, I was like, I'm painting. I did this part, so I painted. And when she came home, she was like, "Ow, ow!" I mean, she was happy. She was ready to do a dance. I was like, "Is this all it took?" But I had to get to a point where I was willing to not react, but to listen. And I had strong men to challenge my way of thinking, because I was out walking them streets at night, late at night, just getting our exercise in. But I apologized to her, and I was like, "You know what? You were right. You weren't nagging me. You weren't doing you. I made a promise to you, and you were holding me accountable to it. And that you're holding me accountable, I was more upset with myself, but I was taking it out on you. So could you forgive me?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Cool." Now
Boom,
she has to
slap on
paint
the
the
butt.
trim, but I'm not going to mention that to her. I haven't lost my mind. But
Well, I mean,
just
let's be honest for a second. Like, how much would we actually do if they weren't in our ear? Like,
Mhm.
probably nothing.
I
We
know
would
Mhm.
that
do it, but we would do it on our time.
I don't like
We
to admit
wouldn't
it.
do it.
I,
We
exactly.
wouldn't do it. There's a lot of
Not at
stuff
all.
that just wouldn't get done. Most men would go to work and come home. That's it. And play video games. That's it. We would order food and go to work and come home. If we didn't have someone saying, don't you want to ... chances are we wouldn't. Most
Look,
of us.
I say this before I met my woman. My walls were bare. I didn't
And
have
you
not
like
near a picture. I didn't have a picture. I didn't have the home decor. No nothing. Met my woman. Guess what? Like, no, you need to put some pictures up. It looked like you come from a like you just moved in and
you've been here 5 years.
but yeah, been there 5 years. Ain't not a picture, nothing of it. But having an understanding, just like, okay, you know what? Having that understanding, you know what? She ain't being malicious about it. Maybe it's something to it. Let me just try it out. But again, having an understanding that this
Yeah.
is a
I remember when
partnership.
you called me and y'all, I don't know what DIY project y'all were doing. I don't know whatever it was y'all were working on. Steve called me geek. Like I spent the whole weekend looking for these. I don't need these big pinwheels. I don't know what they called. And y'all were renovating the
Yep.
deck. Y'all were redoing the deck or something.
Mm-hmm.
This man was so geeked.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yes, but
this isn't something he would have done on his own.
never, and that's where I say men need women and men need. I'm sorry, men need women and women need men. We need. I have to say that right.
You're right.
We
You're
need
right.
each other. Even though we may get on each other's nerve, we need
And we
each other.
will.
There's certain things
And we
that
will.
I wouldn't have never done without her, and there's certain things that she would have never done without me. And we having that mutual understanding makes it work.
Yeah.
It makes it work. There's a partnership. We are on the same. I keep on saying we. We. Every time I tell couples, if y'all arguing, if y'all having a disagreement, sit shoulder to shoulder with each other. Don't look at each other, because y'all kind of like, y'all on opposing teams. You got to understand that y'all a team. But that makes it even that much better that you know that you're a team. So guess what? I'm able to let my guard down and just say, okay, I'll try this. I really don't care about there being pictures or all this
Yeah,
decor, flowers.
I
Like
really
she
don't.
wanted to put flowers in my office. I'm like, I don't care about no flowers, but you know what? It looks better. Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
was
Now
gonna
I'm
say
seeking out.
you had to admit, you know what? Because again, we do. We'll begrudgingly
Because
let
we're
them do things, and then when we see
Mhm.
it, it's like that dude look
Yeah,
better.
I really like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
And
you.
that's her expertise, and that's what she brings to me. I'm happy about that. And you know what? That makes me want to do even more for us. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah,
Mhm.
But
it's hard.
she approached you in a calm, welcoming manner, though, right? Which made you want to do more, right?
That
Or
time.
Yeah, at time. I'm trying to think. You know what? I think you're right. I think you're right about that because had it been you need to do this, you need to do that, I think that the other part of my Gemini would have kicked in and be like, oh, not only am I not going to do this, I'm going to prevent
Waiting even
I'm
longer.
going to prevent you from doing this because you're not going to be able to do this. Oh, you think you're
Right.
going to come into
I'm
my
not
house?
doing it, and you're not doing it. Do you ever
You can
feel
have
like
you can have my house
Nobody's
because I'm
doing
going
it
to.
ever.
nobody's doing it? I like nobody's doing it. But do you ever feel like the tasks are never ending?
yes, yes. I'm going to say that. Yes. Now, how long is your couch? I dropped the couch off, right? I will be laying on that couch. I'm
It's a
glad I
whole
went to
therapy session right
Pathfinders. I
here.
can be out in the street. Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be, something else.
No,
Oh, she
no,
just
it
walked
can't.
down here.
The,
It can't. It can't be. It can't be. January 1st is my deadline. Don't say that. And I told her with this house, get it all out the way. Get it all out the way.
okay,
January 1st, I'm
okay,
sitting down. I'm sitting
okay,
down.
Every
No, no, ain't
time
no
they
okay.
open their eyes,
I'll live in
they
my
see
car. I'll
something
live
in
in
the
my
house.
car. I'll live in my car. No, 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 no,
I
no.
hope you got a nice warm back seat. She gonna
You
call you since
delusional,
you
man.
out in the car. Can you run to the
I,
store?
I tell her this every 3 days. January 1st. January 1st. Get it. Use me up. Do whatever you want to do. You got till January 1st. She's been doing it too. But I told her
January
January
1st,
1st.
2024.
No,
Yes,
January
24.
1st, 2025.
it's coming in.
Mm-mm,
Coming in a
mm-mm.
few. He got
The
a
rule
month and a few
the
days.
rule is if there's anything that needs to be done after January 1st, we already plan it out. We have the money to just, pay somebody else to do it. I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down. I'm sitting down. I have to.
But don't you like money?
No, I do. I do. I
You
do. I
do,
like. No, wait,
And
hold
to
on.
but
pay
in
Here,
this
somebody
past,
to
I,
do some
you
I
stuff.
you
like.
just
I
said
like.
yourself
I
there
like.
was one
I like.
pass. Oh, go ahead, see.
No, I
You
like
just said
peace and
peace
time.
and
Peace and
ooh,
time. That's the
those two
most
together.
valuable things. As I get older, I understand peace and time is what I value more than anything else.
Anything,
Money's gonna be
anything.
money will hopefully God willing will always be there. Sex will always be there because we cool. A fool was we God has blessed us, but money and time,
Money and time,
I'm sorry. What did I say? Money and time,
peace,
time and peace, time and peace.
time and
I'm
peace.
not taking that for granted. I'm not because my fear is I don't want to wake up and I'm 67 years old. Like, how come I haven't put that album out? How come I haven't drawn that comic book that I wanted to draw? So being able to and having her understand certain things too is like, hey, I need this for me, for us to be happy. Because at a certain point in time, if you're not fulfilled in life with certain things, you start to feel a certain way about the person that you with. And I see that a lot that people get very what's the word I'm looking for? Resentful towards their
Oh,
spouse if they are not fulfilled in their life. So that's where you see a lot of people in their 40s, mid 40s and 50s just do these crazy things where we just up and just leave a marriage of 20, 30 years and for somebody that got 6 or 7 kids. And you think about it, like it just makes no sense. But because we are not happy with what it is that we feel like we wanted to accomplish, we lose our minds and do irrational things,
mm-hmm.
irrational things, and I'm trying to prevent that. Okay, I just want to, I just want to sit down, make music, draw a little bit, love on my soon to be wife, and and serve God. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
All right.
But
We'll
January
know on
1st.
January 3rd.
No, no,
We'll
no,
call you
no.
January 3rd.
No,
Sitting there
I get
wearing
it.
some
January.
overalls.
I think that is the what I that is the tale I hear from a lot of men. It just feels like I know some that say they resent getting project A done because they know B, C, and D are right after them. So once I once I finish one, I know what's going to happen, and so it doesn't work because those but I know a lot of men feel like that it's going to be never ending. So I'm like you. I have realized that sometimes you do have to just pay somebody to do it. And I like keeping money in house too if I can do it myself. But I can have money or I can have time, and that's what I'm realizing. I hate it. I hated to admit it. I had to pay somebody to cut my grass, and I felt like I was committing treason because I've paid nobody to cut my grass before. It was wrong. Like every week I got up, cut my own grass. Like that's the mentality, cut my own grass. But the first time I paid somebody to cut my own grass, when I came home and I saw how I wanted to find just one blade on the concrete on the sidewalk. See, nope. That man had cut my grass, edged it up. Like he did such a pristine job on my grass. I wanted to complain, but I couldn't. I couldn't. I could not complain. And I paid that man to do it every week or every other week or as needed because that man was crushing it. And I hated to admit it. But the reason for it is I needed time. And it gave me time to do the other things. So now I can go here and work here or spend time with the kids. I didn't spend all my
Mhm.
weeks doing so much. Like you said, when stuff breaks, because again, having a house, when stuff breaks, which is every day.
Don't say that. Oh my God.
No,
Oh my
I'm
God.
kidding. But y'all already know with a house is it's like having another kid or having another or another
That
person
don't
living
put
in your
in.
house. They always gonna need money for something. I
And everything
stupid
costs
ice
thousands of
machine.
dollars.
I'm looking to just get a new little ice bucket thing that has the little blades in it, crush the ice in the fridge. Something that small, 250. And I'm like
Easy. Easy. Just
easy.
the part.
So
Not
just
for somebody to put it in. Just the part.
right. And
Just
so
won't have crushed ice.
no, we were. My
Just
teeth work.
deal.
Better get
Yeah.
it. You better get a hammer and
Get a
bang out some
hammer.
ice cubes.
I'm trying to tell you. So my point is, it take money. I'm with you. I'm getting to that place where whatever I can't fix or don't have time to fix, I'm learning to appreciate those who can come and do it quickly. I know how to use Photoshop and some of these other programs to do logos and all this stuff, but I actually didn't for my business. I outsourced because it just got done faster. And I didn't have to, I didn't want to come home and sit and try to fix it. I could send it to somebody and say, hey, this is what I want. And when I came back at the end of the day, she had 3 models. I picked the one I wanted. We kept moving. Again, it sped the process up. I'm learning at age 40 plus, I don't have to do everything.
There you go. There you go.
I don't mind. I like it. I like learning new things. I like learning how to do things. But I will say, I see the benefit of having help. Like we went back to the word accountability earlier. I like having help and having people hold me like, okay, this is due now. So you need to, again, you don't have to do it. you can delegate and holding me accountable to get it done. So I appreciate y'all because, but going back to what you said also, I appreciate my wife who reminds me, hey, today is such and such. Isn't this the day you said you plan to have this done? What's the status of? She going back to that, having that wife that holds you accountable. It's a beautiful thing. And vice versa, because I do it to her. What's the deal with? You need help with? What can I do to make this transition easier or make this possible? And having these conversations is beautiful because it's bearing fruit. Or you don't get stuck wasting your time trying to fix something or focus it. I see a lot of couples, even myself. I'm thinking she wants something that she really doesn't want. So by having this conversation on our goals and expectations, I realized, no, I don't want that. I'm like, oh, well, if you don't want it, I don't want it either.
There you go.
Next.
There you go.
You can throw this page out.
Fellas, it's almost it's about time to wrap it up. It's I gotta put the little guy to sleep, and we gotta pray over his safety and his make sure he has good dreams. He definitely asks all the time, did you pray that I'm gonna have good dreams? I'm like, yes, we did. Go to sleep.
Well, you let the credits roll like 20 minutes, so we good.
Okay. Now, before we go, any parting words? Dan, you look like you're in deep thought. I'll let you start because you
deep thought, eh?
Deep thought.
Yeah, I think in the context of our discussions, I just want to say that real men can accept a word of correction from an emotionally intelligent woman who knows how to say
like that
with respect what it is he needs to do. And sometimes it might get tense, but tense doesn't have to be disrespectful. And if we can stay in bounds, we can make sure that we can score points. We're on the same team, like Steve said. We're not across from each other. So I just want to encourage everybody to continue to remember, those of you who are in relationship, you're on the same team. So make sure that you interact with each other accordingly.
Okay. Keith, Steve.
I'm piggybacking on that. I definitely want to say for definitely men, watch your emotions, because a lot of times what I'm seeing right now, and sometimes I could be guilty of this as well, reacting out of emotions. It's okay. It's okay to, in the midst of a argument or disagreement or whatever it may be, to not say anything. It's okay. Just sit with what you're feeling, sit with what's being said to you, but don't react out of emotions, because anytime we act out of emotions, it doesn't usually end up too well for us. And I know what us as men, we always say that women are very emotional, they in their emotions, they in their emotions. So are we. And we need to change that. Set the tone in your house for that.
Deacon Jones.
It is not nagging if she has asked you umpteen times to do it. It's okay to get it done. She will thank you, and you will be proud of yourself for feeling accomplished because you got it done. Yes, there will be more on the plate. Always is. But you are capable. But the nagging piece, we got to own. Many of us got to own that because we contribute to a lot of that. And secondly, Brian, it's okay to be the little spoon. If you want to be the little spoon, that's your business. You be the little spoon.
I hate you. Well, whatever profound thing I was going to say doesn't matter. I need to regain my spoon status tonight. So just know that the next time I'm going to be the ladle. I'm
Be
going
the
to be the
ladle.
ladle.
That's
Be the
right.
ladle.
Be the ladle.
All right, fellas. As always, it's been real.
Is there any music?
It's not.
Zoom. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Ba-na-na-na-na.